So you guys have caught on. We love pasta, and like most people, we love ranch and bacon too. So this week we paired all three for a dish we know you'll love. So let's jump in on how to make it. Same as last week's recipe, we'll start with the pasta. Very straightforward process for all of us. And of course, salt your pasta water. We're anti-bland food around here, okay? Now I'm using 227 grams of penne pasta, but something like rigatoni or another bite-sized type of pasta would work as well. Just keep it bite-sized though. Long stringy pasta doesn't really work well for this dish. Now we'll give one of these a test to make sure it's done, and it is, so let's go ahead and drain this and set it off to the side. The next thing we'll do is prep our sauce, which, you guessed it, is going to be ranch. Surprise! Now we've made the same ranch recipe in other videos we've published, so you can always reference those too. But we'll start with 200 grams of non-fat Greek yogurt, which we'll follow up by grating 1 clove of garlic in there too, or you can mince it if you want. And I didn't have any more onion powder, so I'm actually just going to grate some onion in there as well, although normally I just use 1 teaspoon of onion powder. Then we'll toss in about 4 tablespoons of chopped dill. I tend to like a lot, but you can adjust to your preferences. The squeeze of half a lemon, 1 teaspoon of salt, 1 teaspoon of black pepper, half a teaspoon or so of garlic powder, and then some low-fat or fat-free milk. I'm using 40 grams here, but if you want a little more, a little less, just go for it. I'm really just looking for a specific consistency, not really flavor, and this is about how I like it here. Alright, so now we can get to cooking. To an oiled skillet set on high-ish heat, I'm tossing in 740 grams of chicken breast, which I just diced up into bite-sized pieces that you can see. We'll season this with 2 teaspoons of salt, 2 teaspoons of black pepper, 1 teaspoon of garlic powder, and then 1 teaspoon of onion powder. Now we'll let this sear for a moment, and don't touch the chicken, or honestly, you can pretty much just let the chicken cook almost entirely before tossing it around. At that point, the sear on the chicken generally gets pretty nice, which you can see here as I mix it together. That's unless your pan is insanely hot or not hot enough, and just for reference, I'm cooking mine on medium-high heat right now. And once the chicken is cooked through, I'm gonna put it in this tray and then set this off to the side for later. Alright, so our chicken's done. It's bacon time, baby. What I have here is 190 grams of diced bacon, and you can see that I just left it in bigger chunks. What I want when the bacon is done cooking is basically the ability to put my fork through the bacon. In other words, I don't want to have to scoop it from the bottom of the pasta, if that makes any sense. But anyways, we'll season this with some black pepper and let it sear until it starts to caramelize a little bit. Now before the bacon reaches your desired doneness, we'll toss in 150 grams or so of diced yellow onion and hit that with a pinch of salt. And now we can just let all this sear until both the onions and the bacon are caramelized like we want it, which can vary depending on your preferences. I'm going to cook mine on about medium heat for a couple minutes or so. And after that time, this is what I get to, and I'm happy with the consistency I have here. Let's add back in the cooked chicken and then our pasta from earlier as well. We'll toss this up a little bit to incorporate everything, and then we'll go in with a mixture of 40 grams of sharp cheddar and another 40 grams of mozzarella. Obviously, you don't have to go with this specific cheese mixture, just pick the cheeses you like for this dish and use those. And if you want to reduce the fat of this dish, you can certainly bring down the cheese amount as well. We'll try to mix this all together a little bit, really just until the cheese starts to melt. And once there, now we can add back in most of our ranch, or really all of the ranch. I'm just saving some of my ranch for garnish later, but you can add all of it at this stage. But anyways, let's mix all of this together, make sure everything is distributed evenly, and just like that, this dish is done. We're ready to prep. Prepping is obviously very straightforward here. We'll add our pasta to 5 equal containers, and I'm roughly estimating the portions. I've said this before, you can always weigh out each container to get a precise measure for each, but if you're gonna eat all the food in the end anyways, it doesn't really make a difference nutritionally speaking. To finish these off, I'm going to add the rest of the ranch I didn't use earlier, and then top all of this off with some thinly sliced green onion, which obviously is totally optional. But what's not optional, at least what shouldn't be optional, is making this dish, because it is insanely good, and I would highly recommend making it. I don't think anybody would be disappointed with the flavor. As usual, here's the macro and ingredient overview for this recipe, and like I've noted earlier in the videos, you can adjust these numbers up and down to sort of fit your nutritional profile that you're going for. It's a decently flexible dish that you can work with. But thanks for watching. We look forward to sharing more videos ahead, and if you have any requests, just let us know. Oh, and hit that subscribe button before you go. Yeah, that'd be perfect.